The Pittsburgh Steelers are officially the biggest storyline of the entirety of the preseason. They absolutely have dominated every first team rep that they've gotten and showcased their insane potential not only as an offense but as an overall team. Right off the bat, we can tell how much they have improved over the entirety of the offseason, and we have to give a ton of credit not only to Mike Tomlin but to the entirety of the coaching staff. First off, Kenny Pickett. And I could talk about the ways that he's adapted and improved his game, but we'd be here all day. Kenny looks night and day better compared to where he was last season. Not only has he taken a step in the right direction in terms of his leadership, but it truly seems like he has, total command over this offense, and the guys around him are actually starting to buy into him as their franchise quarterback. Now, last season, it seemed like he was missing, that confidence factor that every great quarterback has. However, this season, it's totally a different story. Although they've only played a couple of drives throughout, the preseason games, but it's already fair to say they've looked dangerous. One of the most dangerous offenses in all of football, and I know it's just a preseason, but still, there is something, to take away from first impressions, and they have made one of the biggest ones, one of the best ones we've seen in all of the preseason. Now, in this video, we're going to be breaking down everything that you need to know about last night's game versus the Atlanta Falcons, but more importantly, why the Steelers are on a great road to success for this upcoming season and for the foreseeable future. However, before we jump into the video, make sure you guys do me a huge favor, guys, and smash the like button if you haven't already done so. Not only does it help out the channel so much, but it helps get this video out to more Steelers fans around the world. So let's see if we can get the video up to 500 likes. Also, subscribe to this channel if you're new. I will be covering the Steelers all off season long, and I also will be live streaming a ton of Steelers games throughout the season. So if you guys want to come watch some games with me throughout the season, make sure you guys join the family, turn on post notifications so you're notified every time we go live for a game, every time we post a video. For example, yesterday I was streaming the Steelers and Falcons game, so if you guys could have easily came and watched it with me. But make sure you guys are there next time. And lastly, if you guys play fantasy football at all, but hate being stressed about, who to start, who to sit on a daily or a weekly basis, I should say, make sure you guys go check out, Underdog Fantasy. It's today's partner. I'm partnered with them. Go check them out, guys. I'm not just saying this. The only reason I partner with them is because it makes playing fantasy football so much easier, more fun. You can just draft a team and it does everything for you. It does everything for you, and you can do higher, lower, and they'll double your first deposit up to $100. Basically what that means is if you deposit $50, they'll give you a free $50 to play with, and you can join some leagues with me throughout the season. I'm going to be doing leagues, and I actually have a league coming up in the next week. If you guys want to join it, there are some spots available. Comment down below. But without any further ado, let's jump into today's video. Now, in the final preseason game of the year for the Pittsburgh Steelers, many believe that Mike Tomlin would, rest his starters due to the fact that they've been so deadly already and have already proven themselves for the most part throughout the first couple of weeks of training camp and throughout the first couple of preseason games as well. However, Tomlin did not waver at all. He wanted these guys to get in some more reps together. He wanted them to, get some more playing time together. And quite frankly, again, they looked pretty much unstoppable versus the Atlanta Falcons on Thursday night. And the one major shining star of the night, Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett led 2 touchdown drives and showed he and the Pittsburgh starters are ready for real game action, which is just in a couple of weeks from now. The Steelers overpowered the Falcons 24-0. 24-0 on Thursday night in the final preseason game for both these teams. Najee Harris and Jalen Warren ran for both had a touchdown to cap off the drives, led by Pickett, who completed 4 out of 4 of his passes for 86 yards in his short but extremely productive playing time versus the Falcons. Now, the Steelers end their preseason with a record of 3-0 and have scored touchdowns on each of their 5 preseason possessions, led by Kenny Pickett, which is truly incredible. Now, after the game, Kenny Pickett was quoted saying, "I think it's proof the hard work we put in paid off in the offseason." Now, one thing to note about this game was the fact that Arthur Smith and the Atlanta Falcons decided to rest all of their starters in this game, which could also be a reason why the Steelers offense looks so damn good. However, Tomlin said his plan to stick with Pickett and the starters on offense for 2 series was not influenced by Smith holding out his starters on the other side. Either way, he wanted to get more reps for their guys, and they did exactly that, and they looked really good in doing so. The second-year quarterback, Kenny Pickett, completed an impressive deep shot passes of 33 yards to Deontay Johnson, and then an amazing one, a 35-yard pass to George Pickens, which left them on the 1-yard line, which led to a Najee Harris touchdown. But Pickens, who is already on pace to take the NFL by storm, reached up for an incredible sideline catch inside the 5, despite tight coverage from Falcons cornerback Natrone Brooks, and what seemed to be the catch of the night. Every time the ball goes in George Pickens' direction, it creates a new top 10 highlight. The man is just a human highlight reel, and I'm excited to see what he can do in his, another season with Kenny Pickett. Now, they're both great players, said Kenny Pickett of Johnson and Pickens. I wanted to make sure I did my part and put the ball out there for them. Pickett had a 16-yard pass to Najee Harris before Jaylen Warren capped off the drive with an 8-yard touchdown on their second drive, and that was pretty much it. That's all Mike Tomlin needed to see before taking them out. But overall, the first half stats reflected domination by the Steelers, especially with their starters on the field. Pittsburgh outgained Atlanta 253 yards to 55 in the first half. I mean, pretty much 200 yards more in the first half. I mean, incredible, including an overwhelming 128 rushing yards to 5 in the first half. I mean, guys, you don't see that too often. Defensively, the Steelers continue to look top tier. In a game where they had 5 team sacks and shut out the Falcons throughout the entirety of the game, they just look scary. The one thing that really shocks me is just their overall depth, or the overall depth that the team has on defense. I mean, yeah, they're going against backups, but Logan Woodside, the quarterback for the Falcons, he is their third string right now, but he has looked very good throughout the preseason, and, versus the Steelers, they made him look silly. A couple of guys that really stood out to me defensively for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, there's a couple of them. Jalen Elliott is a guy who came in at 6 tackles. He looked pretty good. Mark Robinson, the former 7th-round draft pick linebacker, again, he looked really good. I feel like Landon Roberts had a couple of big-time plays, one sack, I believe. He also had 2 tackles for a loss, so he looked really good. Quan Alexander playing with the second and third team. He looks like, he shouldn't be there. He should be playing on the starting defense, so he looked pretty good. Nick Herbig is a guy who I've been, really raving about throughout the entirety of the offseason. He came out with a sack. Quincy Roche had a sack. Toby Ndukwe had a sack as well as another tackle for a loss. So all those guys looked extremely good. Who else? We saw a little bit of Joey Porter. TJ Watt in his limited playing time, he had a sack, so that looked good. Armon Watts had a nice little play with a QB hit. So, I mean, there's been so many guys. And, I know I say here, and I say this all the time, but the Steelers have one of the deepest rooms I've ever seen. Not only are they headed in the right direction, both offensively and defensively, but they're honestly a force to be reckoned with. I believe this could be a massive year for them. As long as Kenny continues to look how he has in the preseason, the sky is the limit for this team. The division is stacked with the Bengals and the Ravens, even the Browns, but I wouldn't be surprised at all to see the Steelers, leapfrog a couple of these teams and actually make the playoffs this season. Defense legitimately can, change the entire season for a team, and we all know the Steelers have such a good defense, and the offense, that's not to mention how good the offense has been as well. We also, another thing to note I didn't talk about, Connor Hayward was playing some running back, and very interesting. Obviously he's a tight end, turned a little bit fullback, but now he's playing running back, and they're utilizing him in a bunch of different ways. Like I said, tight end, running back, fullback. This man's going to be utilized a lot. I wouldn't say he's going to be someone you want on your fantasy team right now, but he definitely could be someone in the future that has a big time contribution for this offense going forward. But overall, this team has made incredible strides offensively, defensively, added so many playmakers, so many guys who can come in here and make day one impacts, and I think this is going to be one hell of a season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, let me know what you guys think about the Steelers in their first 3 preseason games. We're heading into the start of the regular season. Let me know what you guys think. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. And if you love playing fantasy sports like football, basketball, baseball, and so many other sports, but also love being able to win money, you're going to want to stick around for this whole segment. Introducing Underdog Fantasy, the ultimate platform for fantasy sports lovers. Do you want to experience the thrill of drafting your team and competing for huge prizes? Well, look no further. With Underdog Fantasy, you get access to a wide range of fantasy sports, including football, basketball, baseball, and so much more. But here's what makes Underdog Fantasy stand out from all of those other apps. They've got quick and user-friendly drafting process, a unique and exciting game formats, fair and competitive contests for all skill levels, and attractive bonuses and promotions. Not only can you draft teams and compete with others, but you can also play a game of higher and lower, which is personally my favorite thing to do on there, but you can potentially win 20 times the money you put down. And if you use code MattyDubs when you sign up, Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. And what that means is basically when you deposit, let's say $100, they'll give you a free $100 to use and play with. Click the link in the description to get started, or head to the website right now to start dominating the fantasy world. And don't miss out on all the fun. Be a part of the Underdog community starting now. And don't forget, if you use code MattyDubs, they'll match your first deposit up to $100. Let's get started. Get into drafts with me starting today.